right, let's jump right into a deep dive into the Tale of Cedric Blackwood, and we'll also take a quick look at some stuff from his publisher, Big Brother Publishing.
Sounds like a wild ride.
It is. Even the chapter titles hint at quite the adventure. We start with Cedric's engagement to Eliza and success as first mate, smooth sailing.
Right, picture perfect.
But then it's like a storm hits. Conspiracy, trial, and bam, imprisonment.
Wow, talk about a turn of events. So who is this Cedric Blackwood?
So he's this young sailor, super skilled, on track to be captain, engaged to the love of his life, Eliza.
Okay, I'm seeing the picture.
But then we've got these rivals, Horace, Victor, and Edmund. They frame him for treason, and he ends up in the infamous Castle Vortigern.
That's rough. From rising star to prisoner, what kind of impact would that even have on someone?
Right. It's got to be devastating. But here's the thing. Even in prison, there's this glimmer of hope. There's a fellow inmate, Father Fulgence, and he's like this walking encyclopedia. He knows languages, philosophy, everything.
Ugh, the classic mentor figure. Someone to guide him through this tough time. How does Father Fulgence change things for Cedric?
It's not just about teaching, He empowers Cedric, gives him tools to not just survive, but thrive. And then there's this crazy twist. Father Fulgence reveals a hidden treasure, like a map passed down for generations.
Whoa, hold on. A treasure map. Now it's getting good.
Right. Suddenly, prison isn't just about serving time. It's about preparing for the future, for what he'll do with this knowledge and this treasure.
Okay, but escaping Castle Vortigern, that can't be easy. What do they have to go through?
They spend months digging a tunnel. Imagine that. And all while Father Fulgence's health is declining. It's a race against time.
Wow, talk about pressure.
Yeah, and just as they're about to escape, Father Fulgence, well, he doesn't make it. But with his dying breath, he gives Cedric the map and some last words of wisdom.
Oh, man. That's heavy.
But Cedric does escape. He makes this mad dash through the tunnel, swims to freedom. He's driven by grief, this thirst for justice, and this new purpose.
So where does he go? I mean, he's a fugitive with a treasure map?
Fate steps in, right. He's rescued by, a band of smugglers and ends up joining their crew.
From prisoner to smuggler, what a journey.
Right. And as he's learning the ropes, wouldn't you know it, he hears whispers of this mysterious Isle of Winds, said to hold, well, you guessed it, untold riches.
It's all coming together. The treasure map, the Isle of Winds, this is where the real adventure begins.
It is. But before we get to that, I wanted to mention this, also available from Big Brother Publishing List. They've got everything, like children's books about vegetables, fighting zombies, and even guides to the gig economy. It's wild.
What a strange mix. What do you think it says about them?
It's like they're saying, look, life's unpredictable, but we've got something for you no matter what path you're on. There's this theme of education, self-improvement running through it all.
I see that, yeah. It kind of mirrors Cedric's journey, always learning, adapting.
Exactly. But let's get back to Cedric. He's setting sail for the Isle of Winds, treasure map in hand, and a storm brewing inside him. What do you think he expects to find there?
Well, on the surface, riches, of course. But I think what he discovers will be much more than that. This is where his journey goes deeper. Questions about who he is, his purpose, what it means to leave a legacy behind. So last we left Cedric, he was sailing off to this Isle of Winds, treasure map and all. It's more than just a treasure hunt, though, Ralph.
Oh, absolutely. This is where we see the real Cedric emerge. He finds the treasure, sure, but it's what that treasure represents that really matters.
It's like what's the word? A catalyst. It pushes him forward. He gets all this wealth, becomes this Lord Blackwood, but it's not really about the money, is it?
No, not at all. He could have just vanished, lived a life of luxury. But Cedric, he's driven by this need for revenge and the treasure. That gives him the power to do it.
This is where his strategy comes in. He doesn't just, go in guns blazing. He plans each rival's downfall so carefully. Let's start with Horace. How does he take him down?
Remember how we talked about Cedric always learning, adapting? He uses that. He exposes Horace's corrupt dealings, watches as everything falls apart. It's slow, but man, it's satisfying.
It's like he understands them, uses their weaknesses against them. It's a smarter kind of revenge.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's Victor. Cedric targets his greed, manipulates the stock market. Boom, Victor's fortune is gone.
I love it. But Edmund, that last rival, he seems tougher. What's Cedric's play there?
Edmund, he's all about political power. So Cedric plays a different game. He gets in with the right people, waits for the perfect moment, and thing you said. He orchestrates this huge scandal. Edmund's reputation is ruined.
Wow, each revenge is so specific, tailored to the person. But
Yeah.
hold on, where's Eliza in all of this? What happened to her while Cedric was in prison and then getting his revenge?
It's honestly heartbreaking. Her family lost everything. She's struggling to survive. It just adds to the tragedy of it all.
And Cedric, how does he react when he finds out?
He's devastated. I mean, even though he's Lord Blackwood now, he can't stand to see her suffer.
So what does he do?
He becomes her secret benefactor, uses his wealth to help her, financially, without her even knowing it's him.
Oh, that's kind of sweet. But imagine how confusing that would be for Eliza, getting all this help, no idea where it's coming from.
It is, yeah. But eventually, Cedric knows he can't hide forever. He arranges this big reunion, reveals himself to Eliza.
What a moment. How does she react?
I mean, it's a lot to process. She's overjoyed to see him, of course, but there's also anger, confusion, years of wondering what happened to him.
And Cedric, he has to explain himself, ask for her forgiveness.
He does. He lays it all out there, his regret, everything. And Eliza, she forgives him.
The power of love, right. So they reunite, but then what? His enemies are gone, he's back with Eliza. What's next?
That's where things get really interesting. He realizes revenge, wealth, they haven't brought him happiness. There's this emptiness. He has to figure out what his life really means, what kind of legacy he wants to leave.
And that brings us back to the Isle of Winds, right? He goes back, but this time it's different.
Yeah, he's not looking for more treasure. He's searching for himself.
It's like a turning point. He sees the emptiness of revenge, so what does he do with this realization?
He decides to use his wealth for good.
Mm.
He starts this foundation, the Blackwood Foundation, focused on education, helping those in need.
It's like he's taking all that darkness and turning it into light. And it's not just big things, right? There are these little moments where he helps people just because he can.
Exactly. And then there's this young sailor he mentors. It's like he sees himself in this kid and wants to guide him.
Paying it forward, right?
Right.
Using his experiences to help someone else. It comes full circle when that sailor becomes successful, all thanks to Cedric's guidance.
It's really powerful. Cedric's building a legacy that'll last beyond his lifetime. It shows that even after making mistakes, you can still do good, leave a positive mark on the world.
And we can't forget about Eliza. She's a huge part of his redemption. Her love, her forgiveness, it helps him find his way back.
Absolutely. She's not just there in the background. She's strong, independent. She's been through so much herself.
They're a true team. And their story, it's not just a fairy tale ending. It's about facing life's challenges together.
It's a love story, yeah. But it's also about growth, resilience, and the power of second chances. It's amazing how Cedric's story goes from betrayal and revenge to this act of creation, the Blackwood Foundation. Like he turned all that darkness into something good that'll help people long after he's gone.
It really shows you how people can grow and change. He could have just stayed bitter, but he chose a different path, one that led to helping others and leaving a good legacy.
Makes you think about legacy, huh? What do we want to leave behind when we're gone? Money, possessions, or something more like kindness, knowledge, or inspiration?
That's what Cedric wrestles with in the story. It's a question we should all ask ourselves. What impact do we want to have? What do we want to be remembered for?
It's like that also available list from Big Brother Publishing. They have all these books about zombie vegetables, surviving the apocalypse, even navigating the gig economy. What's the message with such a weird mix of stuff?
I think it's about the power of stories, All these different experiences, they all have a story to tell. And those stories can teach us things, entertain us, inspire us, just like Cedric's story inspires us to be better and leave the world a better place.
I like that. It's like they're saying to be curious, open-minded, and to learn from everything.
Yeah, and that fits perfectly with Cedric's journey. Remember when he was learning languages and philosophy from Father Fulgence in prison? That wasn't just about knowledge. It was about growing as a person, becoming resilient, and finding purpose even when things were bad.
It's like those kids' books they publish about vegetables fighting zombies. Sounds silly, but they're teaching kids important stuff like resilience, teamwork, and standing up for what's right, even when it's hard.
And those apocalypse survival guides, maybe they're for a specific group of people, but they teach us about being prepared, being resourceful, and sticking together when things get tough.
It's like a message, hey, life's going to throw you some curveballs, but with the right mindset, the right skills, and the right people around you, you can get through anything.
Brings us back to that big question. What does true redemption actually look like? Is it about forgiving yourself and others? What can we do, even in small ways, to make a positive impact?
It's a question that stays with you after you finish the Tale of Cedric Blackwood. Makes you think about the choices you make, the things you do, and the impact you have on the world.
Maybe true redemption isn't about some big dramatic thing or being perfect. Maybe it's about those little acts of kindness, being compassionate, understanding. It's about seeing your own flaws and trying to be better.
Maybe it's about sharing your story, listening to other people's stories, and realizing that we're all connected, that we're not alone in all of this.
And maybe, just maybe, it's about laughing, finding joy in the unexpected, and remembering that even when life is crazy and unpredictable, there's always something beautiful if you look for it.
Well said. I think that's a perfect way to wrap up our deep dive into the tale of Cedric Blackwood and the world of Big Brother Publishing. We hope you enjoyed this journey of betrayal, revenge, and ultimately redemption.
We uncovered hidden treasures, went through some tough times, and saw the power of love, forgiveness, and the human spirit. But more than anything, we hope you were inspired to think about your own journey, your story, and the legacy you'll leave behind.
Remember, you have the power to make a difference, to make the world a little bit better. So go out there, embrace the unknown, and keep sharing your story.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep believing in the power of stories.